Good morning everyone and welcome back, and this is day 3 of our filthy quarantine in this filthy residence camp. And last night, as I was sitting here just doing some ranging calculations, I just heard this small noise of a petrol engine, this huge cloud of anti-mosquito stuff rolling towards me down this particular alley leading to the unused tennis courts. So I ran from the fog, as did all the mosquitoes, because all the mosquitoes seem to run into the building too. And last night I got bitten slightly right on the elbow, which is minor irritations. Give me a mosquito rather than a bed bug any day. And I gather that our friends in Abu Dhabi are suffering that at the moment. So what news this morning? Just, what time is it? It's 10 to 10. You might think, why is he in bed idling all this time? He's not idling all this time, but he's been going to sleep at about 1 in the morning after having fried his brain with YouTube videos of people doing what he likes to watch doing. So yeah, a bit of a late start this morning, and apparently we've got our PCR tests this evening, which suggests that we're actually leaving tomorrow, which will be Thursday. This coincides with the current theory that's been purported coming from the Alethea, saying that people are getting their crew boat off on the Thursday. So there will be a big high five with Darren, who's probably getting off today, and we'll be sort of replacing him. So finally a little bit of information, and we'll go from there. But I don't intend to do an awful lot today, and it looks like they're cleaning rooms too, so we'll have to see what's going on there. So stick with us. At 6:30 this morning there was a knock at the door after I complained that we weren't getting any knocks at the door, and invisible hands have delivered this food parcel. So in the spirit of greater understanding, I'm going to show you what evil lurks within. This, as you can imagine from the label, is the 605 Weston. I'm horrified to discover what everyone else is eating. Probably chapatis or those horrible tali things that you get that cost £1. Anyway, if it's the same as yesterday, there won't be any surprises at all. Two little Danish pastries, one with raisins, one with sort of some custardy looking stuff. 2 bottles of useful water, and the big reveal. Oh, it's like opening a nappy. Dogs, cocks, French toast, dead eggs. Yeah, skip that. Moving on. So yeah, the slightly disappointing breakfast snack, but it'll be fine. Just the Danish in the cupboard tea is probably all I need, because we're going to try and slough off a bit of the old Christmas pork over the course of this trip, which is very easy at work because you just don't eat because the food can be crap. So that's our day, our Wednesday rolling ahead. Stick with us. Right, how am I staying busy out here? Well, apart from death by YouTube, which I can only do so much of before it starts driving me crackers, I like to bring out some kind of project every time I come to work. 90 days of sitting there just watching the news is enough to depress anybody, so I tend to use my time, I like to think, wisely and creatively. I brought with me some material this time to work on another ghillie suit. I haven't done a video about that one before, but they're very, very good. I managed to have a fantastic wildlife close encounter with a rhodo from about a metre away with the previous one, so I'm thinking about upgrading that. So we've got loads more string and probably some better tools, because it's all quite time consuming. That's the first thing to do. The second thing to do is I'm going to finish off a bit more chainmail for that chap who's ordered the hauberk. Again, this just involves sitting there with a pair of pliers, losing your thumbnail for months and months on end. That's actually pretty good. I'm going to give you a little picture of some of this stuff. I'll move over so you can actually see it. Each one of these rings there needs to be attached to 4 other rings, and it's all stainless steel, so he can go shark diving, and if that's his fancy. But I get the impression he's going to use this for more of a sort of a gaming thing, live action roleplay or something like that. So he's paying a pretty penny for me to make him what is effectively a metal t-shirt. Again, this is another great time filler. But moving on from the higher learning, those of you who follow the channel and people who subscribe will have seen that I've got this zebra project soon, and on the strength of that, needing to know a little bit more about ballistics and how to use my new firearm, recently took a trip to go and see Gandalf, as I call him. His name's actually Andrew, in Wales to get good with my new rifle, and it appears that I'm just only at the very beginning of this curve because wind has started to get a bit more of a factor. Anyway, as a result of which, got hold of this new Kestrel wind meter. Now this is a fantastic little thing. I actually bought one for the drone for about a tenner off eBay, little yellow thing, just to see what sort of wind speed it was. And then there was the what I call the unit quandary about what units do I think in. If you said to me how tall am I, I'd say I'm 5'9". But if you said to me how much I weigh, I weigh probably 90 kgs. So somewhere, being born in 1971 where decimalisation took over, there's a bit of a disconnect in how you think about things. If somebody said to me, how far is it between your mum's house and London, I'd say it's about 100 miles. But if you said to me, how far is it between your house and Angoulême, I'd say it's 45 clicks. So constantly adapting my thinking about what units I think of things in. Heights, for some reason, tend to be in feet. Like talk about, is it flying at 10,000 feet? But depths for me is always in meters. I don't know, it's a strange thing. Anyway, with all of these different calibrations of things, my new scope is in 0.5 centimeters per 100 meter click. So it's mils, and it's a mil reticle rather than an MOA one. And having read all kinds of things on this, I've decided to elect for mils on one gun, which is the new one, and MOA on the other one, which is my 308. So the effect is the same. The lead still jumps out at the end, but it's how you conceptualize things. For instance, here's a for instance for you. Right, you see that back wall where the tennis court is? I estimate that to be about, what would that be? About 170 metres away. I might even pace it out for a laugh. But, if I can zoom in, I can zoom in because I'm quite technical. I estimate that water tower behind, to be about 425. Now obviously bullets can start changing their behaviour and wind becomes more of a component. Also that water tower is slightly elevated by about 2 or 3 degrees. So things do change, and all things past a certain distance become more of a factor. Spin of the earth, bullet spin, bullet drop, Coriolis effect if you're really, really going for it. It becomes a bit of a sort of technical exercise really. So all these things need to be factored in, and this Kestrel unit will actually help me do that.
She's just trying to impress us, and she's got the valley fever, but she doesn't make a sound. She's just hanging around. She's just hanging around. Down the corporate alley with a hush and sweet and bullet. There's a million of them selling, and the buyers can be found. They're just hanging around. They're just hanging around.
Now, finally found something interesting to have a look at. What we've got there is a swarm of bees, and inside that, they're all cuddled up, all snuzzled up because it's probably very, very cold, keeping warm. Somewhere in the middle of there'll be a honeycomb, and then there'll be the queen. But what a great thing to find out here where there's usually nothing of interest at all. I used to keep bees when I was living out here, and they can be a bit tasty, so I'm not going to get stung by them. But they look pretty docile and dormant. This time of the winter, there's not an awful lot going on, bee-wise, but what a lovely thing to see. Something natural. There's our camp. Yeah, deep down in there, there'll be some honey and a queen. Right, in the spirit of hurry up and wait, we're about to have a PCR test. So stay with us, as you're about to see me sneeze my arse off.
Can you give me your passport, please?
Yes, here we are.
You are taking video?
We're taking. Yeah, right. We're going to do our PCR test now, and this nice lady is going to shove something up my funnel.
309. Hi.
Hello. This is the make or break moment, because if we get this wrong and we test positive for COVID, it will be like we're disappearing down a black administrative hole, which our friend Mr. Long can tell you all about, because he's been down that hole himself, and it wasn't much fun, was it? Right then.
This is a terrible black hole to go down.
Fine, lovely. So that was it. One little swab up the hooter and into the pot, and that's me done
How long for the results?
Tonight, sir.
Tonight.
tonight.